Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to wait to get started with today till we get a few more people into the room. My name is John. I work here at Camp Courageous. Right now, my co-host, Kieran Geyer, is here in the room with us today, so he might be popping into today's program as an expert in the things that we're going to be chatting about today. So just watching the side screen here, waiting for a few folks to get started today. But for the few of you that are here now, what we're going to talk about today. Last week we talked about constellations and stars and some fun space stuff that I really like to do. This week we're going to touch on that on the science side of things, and we're going to hit on some things more on the science fiction side of things. Mostly for you parents that are home during this time when your kids are at home with you all the time, and you're looking for more things for them to do, in most cases rather inexpensively. It's hard to take a drive out to Walmart, Iowa City, any of the other big cities to kind of pick up some of the things that the kids are wanting right now. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to share with you, hopefully you might already have it lying around the house, in your recycle bin, in the garage, things like that. So Emily, good afternoon. Danielle, good afternoon. Hope things are going good on your side of camp or your side of town. So happy join. Beth, oh my gosh, Beth, former camp counselor that I have not seen in forever. How are you today? Probably listening to Hanson and watching me and playing with her new cat that she got. Wow, I got goosebumps because I haven't seen some of the people that have popped on here for so long that it's awesome. I keep getting asked the few times that I do get out into town how things are going on out here at camp, and I said things are going good. We're eager to get campers back. It's strange living out here and it being so quiet. So hopefully here in the next month or so, depending on how things are going, we can get campers back in the door here and hopefully for the summer. So hi Beth, I'm doing good too. So excited about that, and to get some noise out here again. It's a different kind of thing to go outside and be able to hear the owls each night versus a bunch of campers laughing and their counselors chatting about things. So just watching here for a few more people. I got, looking on there, I've got about 14 different people here kind of keeping an eye on me right now. So if you're here first time, type in a comment, say hi. I don't know you if you don't know me from back in the day. I worked here from 2003 to 2005 as a program specialist, and came back for all of 2008 as a program specialist. Usually I was one of the adventure guys or was the canoeing AS. And I had a lot more hair. I had a big beard then, so this is kind of my quarantine haircut. Me and both of the boys were trying for mohawks the other night, and we kind of messed up. So it was easy just to say, hey, we're going to shave all of our heads off and then try to salvage a normal haircut until we're able to get back into the shop. So I've got about 20 people on here right now, so we can go ahead and get started with kind of what I was talking about. Last week, I talked about how stargazing in space was kind of one of my passions. With both boys, we spend a lot of time out back here at the house looking at the stars, looking for satellites, planets, constellations, anything that might be out in space. And the other day when I got asked to do another presentation on here, somebody was asking what I wanted to do, and honestly, I was like, I don't know. We'll come up with something for this week. And I thought about it, and I thought, when I first started out at Camp Courageous, a lot of the staff, or excuse me, a lot of the campers didn't come with tech. You didn't have a lot of tablets, phones, laptops, anything like that coming to camp. And I was like, wow, that does go on your tablet, bub. So I'm going to use your tablet here in just a sec. So I was thinking about this and like how can I bring stargazing to some of our campers that either might live in a city or are stuck at home in the house and really can't get outside. And I was like, wow, a lot of these kids and adults, they've got tablets. They're watching their favorite movie. They're watching the favorite programs. And I wanted to share with the parents that are tuning in and some of the kids too, 3 of my favorite apps for your tablets, for your phones, for your computers, that no matter where you are, that is with your tablet. I love having the little guy here. Kieran, I'll introduce you here. Kieran, say hi to everybody in the world. He's adorable. So he's outside looking at stars with us too. The first app that is really awesome and pretty much is user friendly for everybody is called Heavens Above. It's a free app. You pretty much get it on your app store, no matter if you're using an iPhone or a Samsung device. And what it does, what the screen looks like here real quick. I'm getting used to using a lot of tech myself, so bear with me for just a sec. I'm going to see how good this looks on here. What the app looks like is a full chart of the night sky. No matter where you're at on the planet, it uses your GPS on your phone. And if you're looking for night events, if you're looking to see if there are satellites flying over your house, it will tell you where the satellite is in relation to your location. We'll get to that in just a little bit, bub. If you click on the satellite, let me see what I got here.
What's there in it?
See if I can show you one right now for a live sky chart.
What is it in it?
Usually for our area here in Iowa, your most satellites are going to be flying over your house between 8:30 and 9:30 at night. And if you're facing usually to the southeast, you're going to be your best spot to see things. But on the app, when you've got it loaded up and you've got that night sky chart on there, it will pull up the satellite. It will tell you where it was launched from, what year it was launched from, who made it, and what orbit it's in, which is awesome. Now, you don't have to be outside to look at this because it's right there on your phone. You can look at your phone and look at the sky and look at both of them together. But if you can't leave the house, or if you've got a camper that just doesn't want to go outside that day and they want to experience this, that is the sky chart that we used the other night. The other cool thing on there is that it lets you know where the International Space Station is at all times, which will lead me into my next app. And I'm not going to spend a whole heap of time on each of the apps because they're honestly a lot of fun to discover what's on there for yourself. There's a lot of features on there. They're all free. I don't bother. That's more stuff. I don't do the in-app purchases because everything that is on there is really good. The next app that I have on my phone is called ISS On Live, International Space Station On Live. And when you go on to that one, it will give you real-time photos from the International Space Station. It will let you know when it's flying over your house or when the next time it's flying over your house. So literally, if you're into space and astronomy and things like that, or space, I'll just say it that way, you can go outside and literally wave at the astronauts as they fly over you. Now, if you're right in city limits, it's kind of hard to see things. Give me that, bub. Thank you. No, that is short. Thank you. My co-host is making sure I've got everything ready for the next half of our program on here, so he is greatly appreciated more than his 3 years that he knows. So like I was saying, when you see some of these objects flying over in the sky, they look like an airplane, but they don't have the blinky lights. So with things like the International Space Station or some of the satellites that are so far out into space, it might look just like a faint star flying through the sky. That's why the star charts and both of the apps, you can literally find those things a lot easier. Please give me that. Thank you.
It goes on that.
It does go on that. Hey, we're talking about space, and the other night when we looked at satellites outside, did you see anything outside?
Those?
You saw those. You did see some satellites outside.
Yeah.
So this is the stuff we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Can you come back in just a little bit?
It goes there.
It does go there, but you hop down there. Thanks, Chub Chub. All right. So the last app for your phone or your tablet that I want to tell you about is called Planets. So when you go on your Play Store, you just type in Planets. It's probably the first one that comes up there. It's an icon that looks like Saturn. That one will let you see where all the planets are, no matter where you're at on the Earth. So unfortunately, us being here in North America right now, there's some planets like Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus that you can see typically with the naked eye. Right now, you'd have to be sitting in Australia or in Antarctica in order to see those. But when you pull them up on your phone app or on your tablet, you can actually invert the planet and see what someone would see if they were standing in Sydney, Australia. So, which is kind of cool in a weird way, because most of us right now can go outside of our door at night and you can see the constellation Orion. And that's the big one that has the 3 stars for his belt, and that was the Hunter we talked about last week. Now, if you're in Australia, literally the land down under, that constellation is flipped upside down. So where his shoulders would be here in the United States, it's flipped upside down. So that thing was one of the things I thought was cool when we visited there. So tonight when you're looking for something to do relatively inexpensive with your kids, your camper, or just with your husband or wife, you're home, we got nothing much to do, slip outside and see what you can find out in the night sky with that. And you can use your naked eye, but use some tech on there, make things a little easier to find. And it makes storytelling for kids if you can explain, hey, the story of Orion or any of the other constellations as you're pointing out in the night sky. So switching gears here now, just for a minute. Let me shut these things off. And this is why it's perfect having Kieran with us today. That is foam blocked. You can come up here. We're going to talk about you. So my wife and I met here at camp in 2008, and we have 2 little boys. And with this whole COVID-19 thing going on, it's a whole new routine for these guys to be at home all the time. It's a new routine for Jen and I to be home here all the time with them too. So we are literally throughout the day trying to find things for them to do that are inexpensive things that are lying around the house. Okay, you can have that. So I think into the description for today's talk.
What's that?
Okay, you can have that.
What is there's button on it?
It said on the description that I was going to talk about recycling. More what I'm talking about today is upcycling. Looking at the number of people that have popped in right now, some parents, some kids that I know. Pretty much somewhere at your house, you can't tell me you don't have a junk drawer. It's where random parts go to die until mom or dad throws it out, or there's an art project that needs done the next morning, and you're told at 6 o'clock that same morning you need an art project before school. So you need to throw something together quick. Kids get bored with stuff. Which stuff?
That.
You can have that. Okay.
What is it?
You go over there and play with that, and I will be right back with you.
What is it?
Some of the coolest things that I know to upcycle
I went up here.
around the house is that all of us buy electronics throughout the year. You get some. That is a baby lock. But one of the things that we have all around the house, if we get electronic devices, toaster ovens, things like that, are these random packing material that looks like recycled paper in the first place. And usually these get tossed in the recycle bin.
What is this?
That's your baby lock. And you really have nothing much to do with these things. Now, with my kids, hop down just like Bubba, is that this is relatively free. You're going to throw it out anyway. You've got a Sharpie lying around.
This goes on your arm. It goes on your arm.
That does go on your arm.
It goes on my arm. Don't sit on me.
Something simple is grabbing a quick Sharpie, grabbing that piece of recycled material out of your bin, upcycle it, and you've got a castle for your kids to either run over their monster trucks, play with their Star Wars figures, things like that. So these things come in all shapes and sizes. You can cut them into anything.
Up here.
You can put things on the inside as well.
Get me up here.
If you're wanting to co-host next week, you need to be a little quieter. All right, get back up here.
This is my baby lock.
That is your baby lock.
It goes on your arm.
Other thing that I know you got lying around the house,
My baby lock.
up down, is you go to repaint that room and you come home with samples on what to paint your room with. So I know everybody's got about a half a dozen of these things lying around in different colors. And most of the time, come here. Most of the time, once you put a couple swatches of this on the wall, you pick the color you want. This gets tossed in the back for whatever else. So this can definitely be used over and over again for different colors on things. So my kids right now are really big into Star Wars toys, monster trucks, things like that, because I got boys. But I know there's a number of girls out there, a number of boys too, that like the movie Frozen. So these guys like, do you like Frozen? Do you like Frozen?
Why don't open?
Because you're a kid and you're not supposed to unlock a child lock. So for the kids that like Frozen, one of the coolest things, and mom and dad, if you've done any insulation work in your basement, you might have some of that pink foam board lying around that you use for wall insulation. Now, one of the coolest things is you can take that pink foam board and you can turn that into an iceberg, ice mountain, snow, things like that. So if your kids have the Frozen characters, or if you've gotten the Happy Meal toys, very, very easy and expensive. And what I use to cut this with, what I use is I have a hot knife that it heats up, and I can get some real cool curves on that. But if you give your son or daughter a piece of the foam board and just a plastic picnic knife, plastic butter knife, and they can carve this out any way, shape, or form they want. If you've got Elsa on her mountain trying to get away from everybody, and she needs a snow cave, that I took a piece of upcycled foam, hit it with my knife, and I have got the perfect cave for the kids for later on. Throw some white paint on here, and hey, it's a cave.
What is
So
this?
it makes things a lot easier around here.
This?
To questions. So
What?
he's getting into my stuff. So
What is this?
lots of stuff around the house that you can upcycle without having to pay for everything. Easy way to empty out that junk drawer that you've been trying to get to, or for little hands like this one to get creative when he finds all this stuff.
What is this?
That is a stopper, but you could probably turn that into a disc or something to throw. So
Throw?
yeah,
And
to
this?
throw, and that too.
And
So
there?
let your little ones' imaginations kind of do some of the work. You don't have to come up with absolutely everything for them. So let me look down here to the side. Sorry, it's everybody here. Talking about the apps, 3-year-olds always over the map. Love the fact that I could bring the kid in today.
What is that?
Being here at camp is family. These little guys are part of the family. Everyone at the camp knows these guys, so they will stop in from time to time on this one. So honestly, too, my email here at camp is just john@campcourageous.org. If you've got questions on any of this stuff or what I use. The biggest thing that I let parents know, and I forgot to tell you all today, is if you're cutting any of the foam or melting it, it does give off a really nasty smell, really nasty gas. So do that outside and make sure that the air is good on that one. Don't do anything like that on the inside. And same thing with the paint or anything else like that. So I'm going to let everybody get back to their day here. I'm going to let this little guy start exploring around here. And hopefully everyone has a good afternoon, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Have a good day, everybody. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.